All right, we want to create a new document called puzzle. And we're going to start here by sketching on our front plane. And we want to start off with a box. And we're going to dimension that to 30. Dimension this one to 30. All right, from there, we need to start with our center line. And we want to make sure this line is horizontal. Okay, so let's go right here and select horizontal. And when we click on this line, it's just going to confirm that it's horizontal. When we hover over it, we should see this, letting us know it's horizontal. And from there, we can start to sketch out our rough shape. So we're going to go to our line tool, right? And our rough shape is going to just go up approximately 5, over approximately 5. Want to make sure everything is staying nice and square, nice and flat, right? Then we're going to get back out of our line tool, go back in. Now we're going to do the same thing again. Down, over, up, over. And get off of our line tool. Now we're going to start dimensioning this out. And really, we want everything to be 5, right? So this is going to be 5 from here to here, from here to here. We want that to be 5. We want this line to be 5. We want this line here to be, you guessed it, 5, 5. Now we're going to go the opposite way. We need this one here to be 5. This one here to be 5. 5. And lastly, lock this one in at 5. And now we've got everything fully dimensioned, okay? So from this square, now we are going to make our kind of our puzzle. This is going to be our base shape for our puzzle. And now we are going to make our big base shape for our puzzle, and then we can start moving from there. So what we need to do for that is we're going to go over here, and we're going to use a circular pattern. So we're going to go in and select everything right here, and we're going to change this to 4. Okay, now that's just taking this and it's rotating it around 4 times. And we can hit the green check mark to accept that. And now we actually want to take this and multiply that 4 times. So we're going to go back into the sketch, and we're going to go up here, select our circular pattern, and now this is going to get a little crazy. But what we want to do is we want to take this point and we want to lock it in out here, not into the center. I'll lock it in here because we want this to be our axis for rotation. And then we want to lock that in to 4. Now we're going to accept that. So now we kind of have our base for our puzzle, okay? So once we have this, we want to go in here and we want to copy workspace, okay? So we're going to call it a puzzle. And let's just call it puzzle 2. And we're going to create a copy. So now we are able to, if we make a mistake, and we will make some mistakes in here, but now in here we can get back to just this base format here if we make a mistake. So our goal here is we're going to take our trim tool, and we're going to try and make some complex shapes. And really, I'd like you to try to get this into 8 shapes. So if I go in here and I trim this line, we can kind of see this is now one shape, right? now these are connected here. So really by trimming some of these lines, okay, throughout here, these lines like this, you can make some shapes. So now I have two shapes. We'll go 3, 4, oh, Control Z, because I want that line here, but I'm gonna make sure I go back to my trim tool. So that should be 4, and we'll go 5. Let's try to make one of them that is pretty big. 5, 6. So you kind of got to trace this around here. So right here's my shape here, and if you continue to trace that, so if I trim this line here, that will make this into a larger one, right? You can pick one like this, trim, where those 3 come together. I'm going to try and do something right here. Now you can kind of just pick at random, and that's perfectly acceptable. You do want to have some points where your puzzle can get, you want to have a larger anchor point to your puzzle, okay? So maybe we do it right here at the bottom. So this is going to be a large piece down here. You really want to make sure you don't have too many of these small, just singleton pieces like this one here that's standing alone. If you have some, that's okay, right? But you can always connect those in, right? Like right here's, we're going to have a pretty large connection. So let's just see how that goes, okay? And now what we can do is we can click on these pieces here, and they'll kind of, once I'm out of the sketch, right? Now I can connect and see, like right here's a standalone single piece. Right here's a standalone single piece. So I'm going to leave my, right here's 2. So I'm going to leave my single pieces. Here's another one that are, I'm going to leave my single pieces not highlighted, right? Whoops. I accidentally double clicked on the sketch. So now I'm in the sketch. So if you do that, that's okay. Just go back. Again, I'm going to leave these not highlighted here. So I can go back into my sketch and try to incorporate them. Again, if we have some, that's okay. So I really need to work on this side here and these corners here, and that's great. So now if I go back into my sketch, right, I can head over here to my trim, and we might just try this and see how that goes. Again, I'm kind of looking at this, trying to tease this out so I don't have, you can have 1 or 2, that's great, but you don't want to have a bunch of little pieces. We want to make our puzzle rather complex. So there's one there. So I'm going to join these 2 together up here. And I need to join, so I need to really work up top here. So I want to trim this one here, and I want to add this one to that, And I should have just one. We can leave one standalone piece in here. So I can accept that sketch, and I'm just going to go through it one more time and make sure, just double check everything that I have. But there's going to be my one leftover standalone piece. Great. Okay. So here is my puzzle, and it's completed, right? From here, what I need to do is I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to, now, let me say something. If you mess this up in your pieces and you don't like where you started, that's okay. That's why we made a copy, right? So you can go back into your original and you can open that up and make a copy of that one. So you can always start with your base, okay? You can always start with your base. But from here, I'm going to go into create a drawing, and I want it with no views, okay? And I'll accept that. I'm going to close this for right now, and I'm going to go through and I want to big highlight everything, okay? So I'm going to close this. I want to highlight the entire page, and I want to hit delete. I want to make sure there's nothing on this page, right? It should be completely empty. Then I'm going to insert a view, right? And I want to hit insert, and I want to go right here to the Part Studio, and I want this sketch. Now, that's going to be really small. I want to make sure I bring it in as a 1-to-1. And I'm going to just put it here, and I'll accept that as my sketch. All right. It's putting these dots in those intersections. If I leave those dots in there, it will cut those dots out. Okay. I don't want those dots cut. So I'm going to right click and I'll go show hide points. And so now I'm hiding those points. And if I need to go in and trim anything, so any line that you see is a line that the laser is going to cut. So I might, let's say if I want to go in and get rid of that line, okay, this line right here, if I don't want the laser to do that, I can go back in my Part Studio and find that line, head into my sketch, trim that line here, and if I accept my sketch, in my drawing, that should update. It didn't, and that's okay, so I'm just going to delete that, and again, I'm going to insert, just going to bring my sketch back in, and now it's in there without that line, which I like, and I'm going to show hide, I'm going to hide those points, right? And I like how my sketch is, I like how it looks, and now I can export and I can cut this. So this is here, you're going to export this, you're going to save it as a PDF, last name, so now we got our puzzle exported, right? And you can save that as your puzzle export. And now we can cut this puzzle for you to be able to make. All right.